What's happening, everybody out here? Today we're coming at you with a little bit of an update on the car. You've seen in my previous videos that I've been looking at other cars, and I'm going to continue to look at other cars. But there is an issue with this car because the airbox sort of got out of position. And I'm going to go through a couple things to try to show what's wrong and maybe make an attempt at trying to fix it. Now, I just want to point out to everybody, this is a car here that I bought last year in 2018. I did put a Whipple on it, but it was really never my intention to try to build huge power out of this car, put the Whipple on it, make 1,500 horsepower and go to the track and, dazzle everybody with outrageous times. That's not exactly what I'm doing here with this car. This is basically a touring car. I was not in my intention to put, an aftermarket engine in it. It was always my idea to just use the stock engine. Stock engine failed me, so I got a Illinois engine in it that's much more capable than the stock engine, but still, it's not my intention to push this thing, into the stratosphere in terms of making power. There's a lot of people out there on YouTube that are doing that, but that's really not where I'm going with this car. This car is probably, once I get done with any modifications I do to it, maybe 800, 850, possibly 800 at the wheels, on the 85 or something like that. I just don't know. But for the time being, it's hot here in Florida right now. We're midsummer. It's something like 94 degrees. I'll show you the thermostat here that I have here in the garage. So doing work out here right now, the conditions aren't optimal. But I got some things I want to show you, and let me take you through it. Okay, so one of the things we're going to do to try to find out really what's wrong with this thing, as you can see, I put a little flashlight in there by the air filter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the phone in there to take a snapshot of what it looks like when I close the hood to see how much light is coming out around that airbox. So I'm just going to place this thing down over here like this. All right. Okay, you guys see that? This is the top, top seal on the airbox, right? See these? And I'm going to close the hood now. All right, so check this out. All right, so I don't know if that worked. Let's take a look. Well, one thing I can say about that, much to my surprise, is that the whole airbox is sitting too low. So between the gaps that are coming out from underneath it, because the airbox was moved back, there's a big gap at the bottom, but there's also huge gaps at the top. So I'm going to have to raise that airbox, maybe pull it back a little bit, and see if we can get it to seal. So let's see what we can do here. Okay guys, so the first thing that we had to do was we had to remove the throttle body. There you can see it right here on the bench. I gotta tell you guys, it's like an oven in here. You guys see that? I don't know if you can see that. 92 degrees. It's hot. But this is what we deal with here in Florida because we don't have any winters. We never see snow or ice. But in the summertime, we see temperatures like this for a good 5 months out of the year. So yeah, so I got the throttle body out and take a look. This thing's kind of dangling all over the place. So let's see if we can secure it and get it up to the right height. Okay guys, so here's what we have. The airbox has been placed in its place as best as I can. The air cleaner has been removed. It's sitting right there. And if you take a look right here, okay, this hole, this sort of slotted area in the airbox, or this metal shield, was there to accommodate this this hose that's coming off the radiator that goes over to the reservoir tank. But because the radiator is so big, it actually moved the hose back. But I got it into place as best I can. And what I found is that because of the size of the radiator, I can't get it back into place where it's supposed to be. Now I'm going to try to show that to you. We'll get in close, right? And if you can see those mounting holes, if I could show this to you, right there in the frame, there's a hole, okay? It's kind of hard for me to show this to you, but right about there is a hole in the frame. This hole in the shield is supposed to line up with that. It's about 1 inch off. You can see it there. There's a good look at it. And I can't get it to go back any further because the radiator just won't let it go. It's real tight in there. See it right there. It just really hard to get this, but there's that hose, you know, in the shield for the air cleaner. So I can't get it to go back any further, so I'm going to have to drill new holes. And so, you know, one mounting point there. There's another one in the back. Can't really see it, but there's another one back there. We're going to have to drill new holes and get it mounted so that it'll stay in place. It's supposed to rest on top of the subframe right there, okay? And maybe it'll raise it up to the height where it's supposed to be. All right, let's do it. So there's a good look at the original mounting point. You can see the hole, the most forward one there. But then the little black dot that you see back of there is where I marked it, where I need to drill. That's the difference, and probably the same difference in the thickness of the radiator. Okay, there it is. We drilled a new mounting point in the front. There's another one in the back, right? Just about an inch, that's all we needed. Now we can mount this thing. Okay guys, at this point we got it all back together. You can see I got a flashlight in the airbox right there. That's because we're going to close the hood and see how it is. Now that it's been mounted where it's supposed to be mounted, I moved it back about a half an inch, but now it's at the right height. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the phone in here. Right, so you can see top of the airbox. Here's the little seal right here. Let's see what it's like now. Okay, I could actually feel the hood hit the top of the airbox. Let's see what it looks like. Okay guys, from the looks of that, it looks like we got it at the right height. The hood's sealed right on top of the seal right in here on top of the airbox. And I don't, you know, have any gaps underneath it, so I know I'm sealed at the bottom. So yeah, so that's what we got. So let me turn the camera on, let me give you a close look. Okay, so looking at it from this vantage point, you can see the whole airbox is raised up. We got a little spot right over here where maybe some light was coming through. Maybe we can work in there. But one thing I was always concerned about with this airbox is that it was open back in here. That, you know, because it didn't have that snorkel like the stock airbox has. But this thing looks like it's sealed pretty good in there. I don't know if you guys could see that. But I don't see any openings or anything on the radiator side. It looks like it's pulling air straight from that little kind of thing that the stock snorkel used to slide into. And then when you look in here, it's pulling air from underneath the, you know, back behind the headlights and stuff like that. So it's all looking good. Maybe we can keep this airbox and not have to get the, you know, pay all that money to get a closed airbox from Whipple. Okay, everybody, so it took me a good couple hours to get that done. It was a little bit of a pain to have to, you know, move the airbox back, you know, drill the 2 points, raise it up to the point where it's supposed to be, and get it in the right position. But it looks like we got it right. And if you guys remember correctly in my last videos, the last time I had the car out, my IATs at the mass air meter were over 170 degrees. I'm going to take this car out tomorrow, and I'll post it in my next video what the results were after this modification to get this right. I'm hoping that this is enough so that I don't have to go buy a closed airbox, and we can just keep this on the car and move on to some other things. Now, I got some plans for this car. We're looking at some tuning and maybe pulley it down and do a few things with it. I've been on the phone with my tuner, and we got some ideas to make this car run a little bit better. But like I said at the beginning of the video, guys, this is not a car that you know, I'm going to be down at the drag strip with every weekend trying to do the best passes and you know, running race gas in it and things like that to try to make 1500 horsepower. What I'm going to try to do with this car is keep it basically a driver's car, something that the average guy would do, you know, just put a Whipple on the car, do a little of this or a little of that to try to make some respectable power. I'm going to guess that with some pulleys and a few simple things, you know, I can get this thing to be putting down maybe 680, 90 to the wheels on pump gas, maybe a little bit more. And then after that, we'll go after some E85 stuff and see what we can get out of that. So, so there's more to come. Stay tuned. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. All right, guys, take a look at that. Look at that alligator right here in the backyard. That's probably one of the alligators that we featured a few months ago, only now he's, I don't know, I'm gonna say he's close to 6 foot long. Look at how big that son of a gun is. And he's not alone, because right over there is the other one. That one's a little bit smaller, but that one's up to about 4 feet. And that one has gotten pretty big. You know, it's at this point where, you know what, you gotta keep your distance from them, because if something like that, if you're walking your dog and you're too close to the water, this thing will come out of the water faster than a tumbleweed in a tornado. Will grab your dog and pull it into the water, and that's the end of that. So I don't know what they do. I think after a while they come and take these alligators out of here, but man, that one got pretty big. And look at that one. He's just hanging out, keeping his distance. Honestly, I think this one's the king of the lake. You don't want to get too close to him, man. Because if you do, he's going to get you.